very fact that for a conference of this nature, it starts on 24th of December and it ends on 24th of November and it ends on 1st December. I'm so happy that this organization, this meeting is dedicated to the Indian strategy on quality infrastructure. I say that because probably in India's history, this is the most appropriate time to organize a meeting on this subject in India at least. At the helm of affairs in India right now is a man who has extraordinary dynamism, who has extraordinary sincerity, commitment, dedication, and who has an extraordinary vision to take this country to the top, to use science, technology to the best possible, with its best possible dimension, and for virtually everything. The Prime Minister has a vision of getting into the mobile telephone all possible knowledge and all possible information for every Indian, say country of almost 1.3 billion people. And he is ensuring that even in the remotest part of India, a poor, illiterate young man, young laborer, he also has access to internet facilities. He also has access to the services of an optical fiber. Huge infrastructural activities are going on in the country with highways connecting the country from one district headquarter to the other, connecting to the borders, connecting to the religious places, waterways being planned and being initiated, over 100 waterways being initiated in the last 3 years in the country, a huge strengthening of the air systems, telecommunications, agriculture. There is a very ambitious program to double the income of farmers by 2022. A very ambitious program to have 175 gigawatts of clean energy, out of which 100 gigawatt is only through solar by the year 2022. We are into advanced human genome sequencing, animal genome sequencing, plant genome sequencing, producing all types of stress-resistant, disease-resistant, drought-resistant crops. Millions of young children who are not maybe formally educated to the level that we formally call as educated, but they are being trained with various types of skills. So our Prime Minister appreciates all this. He is a man with the scientific outlook and approach in his heart and mind. Billions and billions of rupees are dedicated to the welfare of the young people who have the passion to convert their bright idea into an entrepreneurship program and to produce a product or a process. This is the level at which India is operating these days, and that's why we are today labeled as the fastest growing economy of the whole world. In spite of the fact that in the last 3 years we had drought also, we had floods also. We had a lot of problems like this, but still we continue to be the fastest growing economy. And In your field also, I think we jumped something like 35 points, I was told. And in the ease of doing business, we jumped almost 42 points in last 3 years, and out of that 30 points in the last 1 year itself. That's the latest World Bank ranking. This Prime Minister of ours, fortunately, is one I always recall at such events the contribution of one more great Prime Minister of India, whose DNA this present Prime Minister enjoys, in the sense that we all love and adore one of our former Prime Ministers, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was a poet, but who was a scientist at heart, who was a technologist at heart. Within 2 months of becoming the Prime Minister of India, he brought India into that club of 5-6 countries which had the nuclear capability. He was the Prime Minister who added the dimension of Jai Science, Jai Vigyan, to the already existing dimension in this country where we used to focus on Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan. Used to applaud the efforts of the farmer as well as the army personnel officially. But then our great Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee added the dimension of science to this and added scientists in this category. He reminds us of our scientific social responsibility, and he keeps appealing to the scientists that whatever you do in your laboratories, whatever research papers you publish in your journals, they should all have an impact on changing the lives of the common man. They should all be able to help in alleviating the sufferings of the common man. And this is what the Prime Minister has been now talking of delivering a new India to all Indians by 2022. He wants the professional acumen of all the professionals, the scientists, the doctors, the engineers, the youth of India, the young and the old, the women, illiterate and the literate, everyone, to develop a dream, to do something extraordinary, for scientists to use science to help make this country once again the big power that we had always been in the past. In every field, we had been on the top of the world. We had the greatest scientists, we had the greatest doctors, we had the greatest educational institutions. And now, our Prime Minister is once again striving to take back India to those glorious heights which we always enjoyed in the past. For your specific field, I was so happy that Dr. Girish Sani has given you a new dimension. He is talking of now setting standards for the biological clock and the time at which the various things, how they are happening inside the cell or the molecule or the body or the heart or the mind or the brain, and how they impact. How do we measure them and how do we set the standards for them? And I think this probably should be the standard for this particular meeting, which you should set for yourself for the next 25 years. So this is a new dimension. I am happy he has added this new dimension, which because as a medical doctor, I always feel that a the majority of what the brain is and what our body is, it still needs to be understood. And I think when you are capable of producing an atomic clock which will not falter for a fraction of a second in billions of years, you can probably do this also. Another very important dimension, and I am so happy that our international leader from France and Japan, they have handed over a memorandum to me, to Dr. Harshvardhan, the Science and Technology Minister, to hand it over to the Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the Environment Minister. And I think for me, coming to this program and inaugurating this conference, I think this memorandum which you have given to me just now, this is probably the greatest blessing in disguise for me. Because informally, a lot of people tell me, who are the experts in this field, they keep telling me that the standards for all this PM 2.5 and PM 10, etc., which are actually in operation, they are actually far more than what the actual standards are. But since the people tell me unofficially, I can't say that with authenticity. And this, I think, if it is so, then there is an urgent and dire need to set these standards. Because otherwise you keep frightening your people, over-frighten your people. So the very fact that your prestigious body has offered to me, the Environment Minister, an initiation for standardizing all the equipments and for standardizing all the data and the values for the parameters which will judge the purity of air, etc., etc. I think that's a very important thing for me. It's a great development. I think for that to be done, I don't need any instruction from anyone. Dr. Aswal told us that this institution, this building with its great scientists is already helping over 2,000 industries. And the industries belong to all types of categories, help them in setting standards, etc. They have a plan to work about establishing the standards for judging the efficiency of the solar cells. You see, with an ambitious target now these days for the country of 100 gigawatts by solar energy itself, there is this urgent need to establish standards for judging that efficiency. I am particularly happy that today is also an important occasion for, because I have been told that today we are going to synchronize the atomic clock of this institution, which is in fact providing the Indian Standard Time for the whole country. We now, to ensure all sorts of cyber security, we need to synchronize this with all the computer clocks and all the clocks all over the country. And the very significant development that is going to happen today is that we are going to synchronize it with the GPS of our Indian Space Research Organization. And I have been told that the Indian Air Force, as well as the Department of Telecommunication of the Government of India, they are also very keen and passionate to collaborate with the atomic clock of the National Physical Laboratory of the CSIR. And this whole lot of activities, I think they are going to help us in a big way in, number one, taking our country forward with a modern outlook,